Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
ET is Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Real Life, Real Crime is a true crime podcast brought to you by Woody Overton and executive producer Toby Tomplay.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney prior to and during any questioning. You can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. You understand your rights?
Your crime spree was over, son. Yeah, you thought you had it licked, but Detective Overton made your sugar turn to shit. Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.
Warning. This episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, may contain descriptions of acts of violence or that are of a sexual nature. It should be for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. I did not get the facts of these cases off of the internet or from some television show. The facts we're retelling you were presented to us by the victims of the crimes or the perpetrators who committed the crimes against the victims. My description of the crime scenes are what I saw with my own two eyes. If you're going to get offended, please turn this podcast off now. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Woody Overton. And hope everybody had a good 4th of July. You're staying safe and staying away from COVID, and that you're well. And I love and appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to tell a story today, a little bit outside the norm. Probably get back into regular homicides and some of the bigger cases in the next week or two. We're waiting on a few things, but we're going to get started. And I love and appreciate each and every one of you lifers out there. And I just can't thank you enough. You're making us grow crazy. We just passed 19,600 on our crew page, the private Facebook page tonight. And I'm sitting here recording live for our patron members. And I've been hanging out with them for a little bit. Anyway, wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for y'all. I love you and I appreciate you. So stay tuned and I'll give you some announcements after the show. So today's episode, what am I going to call it? I'm going to call it the first of the month. All right. So I guess it was 2003, and the month was August, but it was right around the first of the month. It's like the first week of the month, just like maybe like now, right? So I was working for the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, and I received a call from Detective Vic Marler, who was a narcotics agent, and he was simply, hands down, the best narcotics agent or officer, deputy, whatever you want to call it, that I've ever seen. He really was great, and I was great at narcotics, and that's how I made my bones before. And I thought that's all I ever want to work until I worked my first homicide, and that ruined me, right, from running the dope. But the dope game is a lot of fun. It's dangerous, and it's a lot of action. It's never a boring moment when you're working as a narcotics detective, running people down, etc. So Vic calls, and he gets all excited. He said, Sheriff called, and we got this hot area. And I said, well, what's happening, man? And he told me, he said, look, there's this real nice neighborhood up north of Denham and Watson. And he said it's a single dead-end street with a bunch of nice houses. And he said they got a guy in there who's supposed to be slinging crack out of one of the houses. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, all the neighbors are complaining because you got all these hoopties and shit pulling in their neighborhood. They're really nice neighborhood. And they're going to this one house and they're buying dope. Well, I said, what do you know about the guy that's in the house? He said, well, here's a kicker. He said, that bitch is on house arrest or parole. He said he's got an ankle bracelet on, right? He's out of prison on parole, locked up in this house, and he's selling dope. I said, what's he doing? What does he do for a living that he can afford to live in a nice neighborhood, et cetera? Slinging dope. He said, I think it's like his grandparents' house. I said, all right. So he told me, we went and met somewhere in Denham, probably Denham Springs PD or whatever. I would have been on the east side of the parish at the time. And so I go and meet him, and he showed me the street. The name of the street was Parham, Parham Avenue, and they call it Hunstock West. And Hunstock East is a much larger, I think, subdivision. And Parham would have ran across Highway 16 north. And I ended up living on Parham in the next year or two. I actually lived in and purchased a house that was next door to this store that I'm going to tell you about. It's kind of crazy, but that's for another day. So it was Parham. You turn on a Parham off 16, it's dead end. You go straight to the end of the street. There's 1, 2, 3, which is the house that I lived in, and 4, the fourth house on the right. At that house, there was a side street, but it wasn't really a street. It was just a right-hand turn that you could make with a cul-de-sac with a couple houses in the back. And then Parham went on down for another half a mile, maybe a quarter of a mile, and houses on both sides, and dead end cul-de-sac on the other end, right? And yeah, it was a nice neighborhood, it really was. And he said that, the sheriff had been getting complaints after complaints, and he wanted us to go up there and stop somebody, and find their dope and get a search warrant, get a statement from them, get their search warrant, and to get together and hit the house with a no-knock search warrant. And I know no-knock search warrants has been catching some bad rap in the news lately, and I get that. Dumbasses in every profession. I mean, these people, the cops that break into the wrong house, look, that shit happens, but it's totally unexcusable. Every time we would do something like a no-knock search warrant, we would always ride by and make sure we had the right place, right? You want to make sure what doors you have to cover and everything else. But guess what? On this one, it wasn't a problem. We knew it was the fourth house on the right. Okay, not the fifth, the fourth one, the fourth one before the first cul-de-sac to the right. But here's the kicker. Homeboy was in there slinging his crack, would put a green light on the outside the back door whenever he was holding crack. When he'd run out, he turned the green light off. When he was holding crack again, he would turn the green light on. That's what Vic's intelligence said. And so we loaded up, and Went down there. We did a drive-by. It was a Friday. I think it was a Friday evening in Friday or Saturday morning. I think it was a weekend. I knew that. I think it was a Friday evening. And we drive by, see it. The house is red brick in the front, stucco around the main entrance. And then when you take a right on that little cul-de-sac, that's where the parking was on that side of the house, on the right hand of the side of the street from the cul-de-sac. And as you approach the house, that's where the back door was. And they had a wooden fence. And behind that wooden fence was a swimming pool area that was enclosed, right? So we go in, we loop it, notice what vehicles are there, et cetera. This guy was supposed to be living with his grandparents, making shit to us. I mean, the green light's on. He's going to be selling crack. So we split up. I went and got an unmarked vehicle, and Vic went and sat down on Parham, pulled in somebody's driveway. He'd got permission from one of the people, the citizens that called the sheriff and was complaining. So he's backed in and said, look, when somebody comes in and makes a buy, they go to the door, I'm going to let you know what vehicle it is, and you catch them on the way out. I was like, cool. So I set up on 16 at the time. If you go to Parham, like you're leaving the crack house, and like hit Highway 16, which runs north and south through Livingston Parish, you take a right, there's a red light right there, and then right past that red light was a car wash, one of those pay-to-car washes. I don't know if it's still there. That area of Watson's gotten huge now. It's an explosion. But of course, I'm getting old because we're talking about almost 20 years ago. But anyway, there's a car wash on the right. There wasn't anything else up there. Now there's subdivisions everywhere and Walmarts and all this shit. There wasn't anything else up there back then. So I set up at the car wash. Vic sets up, and it wasn't even 15 minutes. And I had Deputy Ken McMorris with me. Now, Ken's born and raised up there in Watson area. He's Livingston Parish. He's LP through and through. Country boy, good old country boy, but also a hell of a narcotics detective. And I don't know if he ever worked narcotics full time, but on the street, he was like me. He was a hustler. He was going after the day. When in between calls, when calls laid down for uniform patrol, we'd get in there and we'd go hunt people. But he'd hunt them on the west side. I'd hunt them on the east side. Sometimes we'd hunt together when we can. Anyway, Kim Morris is still career detective officer. I don't know where Beck's at, but Ken's still career detective officer and one of the finest law enforcement professionals you ever meet, but also a good old boy. So Ken was with me. I remember Ken being with me. I think Brandon Ashford might have been with us that night also. There were several of us. I can't remember who all it was. So anyway, Vic called. He said, got one. He said, got one. He's pulling up to the house now, small red pickup truck. And he said, white male getting out, driver's side, going to the back door. And he went to the back door. He said he's going inside, and he went inside for like a minute and a half. And he comes back out. He said, he's getting in his truck. He said he's got a 32304C, which y'all, that is, most people don't even know about that law. That's white light, Louisiana, revised statute 32304C. Any criminal code or any code in the Louisiana law that starts with 32 that is enforceable has to do with traffic, some type of traffic violation. Anything that starts with a 14 is a criminal code. Okay, that's not traffic. Now, certainly traffic is criminal also. And when you sign a ticket, you're actually being arrested. When you sign a ticket, you're releasing yourself on your own recognizance, saying that you're going to show up in court and take care of your ticket. All right, so fast forward. Vic says he's 32304C, which means that's our probable cause for stopping him. Dude's got no white light on his license plate. So we wait for him to come up. And we were set up at the car wash, and he came out and he drove right past us. And so pulled in behind him, lit him up with the unmarked, get him pulled over and haul ass out the car, right? Run up on him, but not in such a way to scare him, but run up on him. We got the lights on him. We got the dash lights going and had a marked unit in the area, pull in behind us with the lights on and get up. I approached the driver's side and I tap on the window and he has to roll it down. It's like a 1985 red Toyota single cab pickup truck, one of those that has like 600,000 miles on it and shit. I mean, it's older. I mean, it was old then. Imagine how old it would be now. But it had no business being in this neighborhood, right? And so, anyway, roll it down. The reason for rushing up towards the vehicle is so the dude can't eat the dope or chunk the dope out the window. He didn't. I mean, we had him lit up for the whole time. And so I tap on the window. I say, hey, man, step out. Come on, hurry up. Step out. And he steps out and he has his hands. He didn't have him up in the air or anything, but he's there and he's all nervous and shit and he's sweating. And I say, hey, Detective Overton, the reason I stopped you is the Louisiana law requires that you have a white light on your license plate and you don't have one. He's like, what? That's actually a law. I said, yes, sir, it is. It's 32304C. And he was like, well, I don't know. I mean, he's sweating. He's probably like in his mid 40s. And I don't know if he'd been rocked up already that night, but he knew it was game time, right? That shit was on. So anyway, I said, look, it's not that big of a deal. I said, but where are you coming from this evening? Oh, so I'm coming from such up by the end of the line. I said, really? He said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I said, you just came from the end of the line. Now y'all at the end of the line, if you run 16 north, it goes all the way until you hit the parish line. And in Louisiana, we have parishes, not counties. The parish line of Livingston and St. Helena Parish. Okay. So he's telling me he's coming from the end of the line where there's a couple bar rooms up there and gas stations and truck stops and shit like that. But really rural. Well, guess what, bitch? I know you're lying. You're not coming from the end of the line. You just came off of Parham Avenue, right? So I let him hang himself a little before. I said, you sure? I said, what you doing up there? He said, I went up there to get some gas. And I said, man, they got gas stations all down here. I said, give me your driver's license. He gave me his driver's license. He lived down south of Denham. I'm like, bitch. And I said, you live south of Denham? You drove 30 miles to get you some gas? Yes, sir, I did. Yes, sir. I said, okay. I said, well, then let me ask you something. But then what he did, and this is an old trick I would use on him, he was real nervous, right? And rightfully so. But he put his hands in his pocket, and in his front pocket. I never miss a beat on him. I make it like it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, hey, man, while I'm talking to him, and he puts his hands in his pocket, I'm like, hey, man, can you do me a favor and take your hands out of your pocket for officer safety, right? I said, I don't know if you got a bazooka or something. Oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. I mean, he was real compliant, nice guy, but he's still all jacked up. He's not thinking about his hands, and I knew he was going to do it. While he was talking to me, he was telling me his lies. He stuck his hands back in his pockets again, being nervous. And when he did, I grabbed him by both hands. I said, look, I asked you to keep your hands out of your pockets for officer safety. I said, I don't know why you keep reaching in there. I don't know if you have a bazooka or anything. I said, let me do this so we can continue your conversation. So you can take these hands. And I made him lean up and put them on the side of the truck. Put your hands right there. You don't have anything in them, and he didn't. And so put your hands right there, and I'm going to pat frisk you for officer safety. I said, you're not under arrest, but I want to pat frisk you to make sure you don't have any knives or guns or tanks or whatever on you. And that way we can continue to talk and I can feel safe. And he fell for that shit, right? And so what's he going to say? I already got his hands up on the thing. I go to pat frisk him, and I feel in his front right pocket when I'm reaching down, patting his, start at the shoulders, come down under the arms, down the chest to the pockets. And I feel in a report, I would say I felt what I appear, due to my previous knowledge in working narcotics, what I believe to be a possible crack pipe. And it was. I call it the glass dick. And so I get to it, and he kind of flinches. No, Hoss. I said, don't move. I said, I'm not worried about an old glass dick that you got on you. I said, or another street term besides glass dick, y'all, is a horn. I said, I'm not worried about your horn, your glass dick that you got on you. I said, I'm going to get it from you, and then we'll talk about it, but just don't move until I get done. So I pat first and rest away. He didn't have any weapons. I said, oh, look, I'm going to reach in there. I said, do you have anything in there that's going to stick me, any needles or anything like that, or is it just your pipe? And he just kind of hung his head. And I said, look, I'm going to go ahead and advise you your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney prior to and during questioning. If you can't afford one, a quarter point 1 you. Do you understand your rights? He said, yes, sir. I said, you're not under arrest at this time. Do you understand? He said, yes, sir. And I went ahead and did that at that point because I knew that was going to be a 14 charge, at least for paraphernalia, 14, I think 1033. Louisiana Revised Statute 1033. But I already knew I was going to be able to arrest him if I wanted to. And, but I didn't know if he's going to have the crack in the same pocket that he had just bought. So when I reached in and I retrieved the pipe, and it was a crack pipe, glass stick. You ever see in convenience stores, they sell these little glass tubes that have these like miniature flowers in them? Well, that's bullshit. Those are not for, people are not stopping at the fucking gas station saying, oh, I got to fight with my wife today. Let me bring a miniature glass flower. That's a crack pipe. All right. And that's in the sections like these whatever little gas stations you see, and they'll have like rolling papers or whatever. They'll have those little miniature roses in the glass pipes. Well, that's what I'm talking about. And what they do is they take that rose out and they'll get what they call a charboy or Brillo pad, whatever.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Mochi. Mochi is a telehealth platform that connects patients seeking medication-based weight loss treatment with board-certified doctors and dietitians to help them determine the best treatment options to accomplish that goal. Mochi's program is completely virtual, meaning you can access their services anywhere in the United States and you will be meeting with their team online. You deserve doctors that listen. Mochi is dedicated to providing holistic, patient-centered care that prioritizes overall well-being with the goal of transforming how weight management is approached. Mochi Health takes a holistic approach to weight loss that includes visit with board-certified doctors, nutrition consultations, and medications delivered to your door. Science-backed medications including GLP-1s like Ozempic and generic compound versions, affordable and accessible regardless of insurance coverage. With Mochi, their dietitians work hand in hand with your medication to create personalized nutrition plans that fit your lifestyle. Reach your weight loss goals with science-backed, FDA-approved GLP-1 medications and support from real doctors and guidance from registered dietitians and help with making easy and sustainable changes to achieve results. Y'all have seen this. My wife has done it. My brother-in-law has done it. One of my best friends is doing it. And it really is an amazing process that works. So get started at joinmochi.com and use code RLRC to receive $40 off. That's joinmochi.com and use code RLRC to receive $40 off and let Mochi help change your life.
Some type of metal mesh, and they shove it in the end of that, and then they put the crack on the end of that, and they fire it up. And this dude's This dude's horn had been played a lot. His tool, his glass dick was long used. It was all charred up black, right, on the end. So that's the other thing about crackheads. They always have the thumbs would be burned up because they use the lighters over and over and they sucking on it. And that flame, they do it until the flame burns their finger. And that end part gets so hot, but they love that crack so much, they got to hit it again anyway. So anyway, I get it out, get the pipe out, and I said, all right, Hoss. I said, go ahead and put your hands behind your back. And I cuffed him up because, here's my game was not to take him to jail, y'all. My game is to scare him into cooperating. And I got him to cuff up, and nothing to get your fucking mind right like having a pair of handcuffs put on you, okay? So I got his hand behind the back, the other hand back, and that's when, unfortunately, that's the most dangerous time for a cop when they're taking somebody under arrest is when they go to put the second cuff on. But the time you put the first cuff on, by the time you get the second cuff on, that brains person decides right then and there whether they're going to fight, flight, or freeze, okay? And I think recently one of the shootings that happened was some guy was passed out at Taco Bell or whatever, and that's when he started to fight the cops, is right when they went to put that second cuff on. But anyway, put the second cuff on, he didn't resist. I said, look, man, I know you fucking lying about where you coming from. You know you're lying about where you coming from, but this can go down one of two ways. Like I said, I ship your ass to the jail right now in this marked unit, or you and I can pull off to the side and we can talk. So first of all, you're going to tell me how much crack you just bought, who you bought it from, et cetera. I said, if you don't want to play, there's going to be plenty more people that are going to be pulling up there tonight. They're going to get arrested. Somebody's going to end up flipping. I said, now, if you cooperate with me, I'll stroke you a ticket, a summons for court, and we'll get it taken care of before the court date, right? I said, if you don't cooperate, you're going to jail. I don't give a fuck, but I can't be out here all night because these other crackheads are coming to buy crack and they're seeing us out here on the side of the highway, right? He was like, no, I'll talk to you. So put him in the car. Had him, let me back it up. I said, where's the crack at? And he said, I put it down underneath the driver's seat. He said, it's in a little orange bag. Didn't have to have his permission, y'all, at this time to search his vehicle because I could have done a tow sheet on it, but I got his permission. I said, so you give me permission to get it out? He said, yes, I do. So I reached in, got the crack cocaine out, and I said, I'm going to go, do you mind if I look through it and see if you have anything else to notice? We did a thorough search, and that was it. I mean, he had like some Brillo pads and shit for his pipe and all that, and then, but just basic bullshit. So we hurry up and get it out of the way, get behind the car wash, because Vic is still set up in the neighborhood, right? And watching for more people to come in and buy dope. And they were, but we were too busy. So get him in and I said, hey, look, man, tell me where you got this crack from. He said, Barham, house with a green light on it. I said, the fourth house on the right? He said, yes, sir. This is the only house in the neighborhood that has the green light on it. I said, who'd you get it from? And he gave me the guy's name. And I can't remember, y'all, what it is today. But he gave me the guy's name. I said, what's the deal? Tell me exactly what happened. He said, do it like I always do. He said, when he got the green light on, everybody know he's holding the good shit. I said, what you mean good shit? He said, man, he makes good crack. And he said, when the green light is on, he said, my friends call or we let each other know, whatever his name is, we'll call him JoJo. JoJo's got the good shit tonight and he's holding. So he said, I went to the door and he said, he knows me. He let me into his living room, and he went into the back bedroom. He went down the hallway. He said he left the living room. I gave him the money, left the living room, and he comes back. I said, was he gone long? And he said, no, he was gone like 10 seconds. Said, y'all, this is a 3-bedroom house. I was trying to figure out, basically which room he was using. I said, did you see any kind of firearms or anything? He said, hell to the yeah. He said he got a big old shiny 45 pistol that he lays right on the table. He said he was in there. He's smoking weed right now, playing on a big screen television. Now look, the world has evolved, right? And I got like an 80-inch television downstairs and it's flat and all that. And look, in 2002, 2003, a big screen TV like that was really expensive and rare. But he said he's sitting there, he's smoking weed. He said he had a joint lit on the table and his pistol laying right there. Big pistol, big shiny pistol. And I said, all right, I'm getting all this for the search warrant. So I have him fill out a statement, make a recording of a statement and everything, which house it is, who the guy is, JoJo, whatever. I asked him, I said, did you know that he's on parole? He said, hell yeah, man, he's on house arrest. He's got a fucking ankle bracelet on. And I was like, yeah, that's right. We're going to get his ass. And so he writes it all up, and I'm able to take that and use that as probable cause to get a sworn affidavit for a search warrant. All right. Search warrants. It's not like you see in the movies. This shit doesn't happen in 30 minutes. Okay. You got to write it up. Like on this narcotic search warrant, my probable cause is, Detective Vic Marler observed this guy going into the residence, and that we had information was a known narcotics location with the green light on, et cetera. He observes him go in for a short period of time. He observes him when he comes out. He observes him when he gets in the street. At the end of the street, I had eyeballs on him. He comes, we make the traffic stop, found the paraphernalia on him, being the pipe, and then got his permission, or he admitted to the crack, got his permission. Then he told us that went to the fourth house on the right with the green light. He verified everything that the Detective Morrow said, but he also stated that in going in there is a loaded, or it appeared to be loaded, .45 shining pistol, and the guy was smoking marijuana in the residence. Okay. So you put all that up, got to get it all up, type it all up. Then you got to get a judge to sign it. Now, in Livingston Parish back then, you had one judge that was on duty on nights and weekends, kind of like you were in detectives later on, right? When working homicides and stuff. There was one judge that was expected to be called out. However many judges they had, 6 or 8 or whatever for the whole parish. So I had to find the on-duty judge, go to their house, and drove to the house. You have to put up your hand, swear just like you do in court. You can tell the whole truth, blah, 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 whatever. Yes, sir. He reads the affidavit. He says, "This is true?" Yes, sir. And then they sign. What you're asking for is, and the search warrants have to be real specific in what you're asking for in the search. Now, I'm going in a search of residence, whatever it was. I think it was 7919 Parham Avenue, Denham Springs, Louisiana, even though it's Watson. And the residence looks like this. You write in the description of the residence, including the green light on the outside. You're requesting a search warrant to go in and seize the illegal narcotics and any firearms, and that this guy has a criminal history for the dealing of narcotics, and he's actually on parole, and you want permission to search anything in the residence to look for any more firearms or narcotics. So it's got to be more limited, and I guess I could talk about it forever. You just can't go in there and say you're going to a search warrant. Like a narcotics search warrant doesn't give you the right to go in and look for dead bodies, right? But if you find a dead body during the process of search warrant, it's still good. You would stop then and back out and get a search warrant for that. And but it's called fruit of the poisonous tree. If your shit starts out bad, then it ends bad. If you're incorrect on your search warrant, then everything, if you go execute that search warrant, it doesn't matter if you found 100 dead bodies and 100 tons of dope, everything is poisonous. You can't use it. So you got to make sure you do it and you do it correctly. So do it. It takes time. You get the judge to sign it. Boom, go back. So now we're getting the people together. We're going to hit the house. No knock warrant. Now the reason for the no knock, y'all, and I understand what's happening nowadays, but the reason for the no knock is this asshole had been to prison, and he's still fairly young, and he'd been to prison 2 times previously for narcotics and weapons violations. We knew he had a gun sitting right there. And if you go up to the door and say, "Hello, Sheriff's Office, can you open the door, please?" I mean, this asshole, they could do him for his 3rd strike, right? And they could do him as a habitual offender, and he knows this. So what are the chances that he's going to shoot it out? What is probably not high. But if you can hit the door without having to do the knock, you say "Sheriff's Office, search warrant," bam, and without knocking and announce yourself, you kind of do it at the same time. You hit and you go in, and you have that element of surprise for the split second. So even at that, a lot of officers get killed every year. Terry Lawson, I think, was the one from Baton Rouge City, that they do no knock search warrants and they get killed because the bad guys are waiting on them. But so we stack up. I forget how many people we had. We probably pulled in some uniform guys off a shift also. I mean, it's late by now. And Vic's been set up. He said, man, this bitch is like, you wouldn't believe the people have been coming in here buying dope all night, right? But once we got it all together, we briefed everybody on the house, the front door, the back door, which is the one we were going to hit, and the backyard, the high fence that was around the swimming pool, etc. So when you go up, go correct. And when we rolled in, we were stacked up in vehicles. And when you get there, you're rolling in, you're going to turn on Parham, no lights, none of us. And Parham didn't have any traffic on anyway. And so we turn on Parham, turn off our lights, and we hit that corner. A couple of the vehicles stayed actually on Parham. We went around the corner in the cul-de-sac. We all bail out. We run to the door, had the ram. The ram, y'all, is it's like a short metal pipe. It's heavier than hell, and it has 2 handles on it. And you have the ram. So when you say sheriff's office search warrant, bam, you hit a door, and there's not many doors that can, except for hotel rooms. Hotel rooms are hard as hell to break their doors, but there's not many residential doors that can take more than 1 or 2 blows from the ram. And I don't remember who had the ram. I didn't, but normally I did. But anyway, we run up, and everybody's running around the sides of the house, et cetera, and we run straight to the back door. Sheriff's office search warrant, bam, hit it and bust open, and that dude's sitting on the couch with a big fat ass joint in his mouth, and he's got a PlayStation in his hand, and I'll never forget it. His eyes went boop like saucers, and he's looking at us, and he got the joint in his mouth, and the pistol's right there in front of me. He looked, and we were running in, guns, get on the ground, get on the ground, and giving loud verbal commands, right? And we took him, slammed him to the ground, secured the weapon, and you automatically, whoever got him down, and I don't remember who it was, they pat frisk him automatically. The first person that puts hands on him is responsible for him. Then we peel off and we go through, and one person's going to break this way and one person break this way. Anyway, till the house is clear. I'm not going to tell you everything. So once the house is clear, you say clear, and you come back through, and you go back through it, and you do it again, a secondary search, right? Well, the secondary search is where you go back and you look for the dope. We know he's got marijuana in the living room, and I mean, he had a joint in his mouth, and I don't know how much weed this dude smoked, but evidently it was a lot. But so we know we had that, but that's not what we were there for. And the guy told me this when he went in to buy the crack, that Jojo got up and walked down the hallway and disappeared from the site. So I knew it was probably going to be in one of the bedrooms. So we start to tear the place apart, and I actually found the dope inside. Okay, back it up. JoJo was living with his grandparents, and they were not home. Thank God. They were not home that night, and I don't know where they were. I didn't ask, didn't care. But he was living with them while he was on parole. They were nice enough to let him stay there while he's on house arrest. They were one of the reasons that he got parole, because they were very upstanding citizens, right? And he's a turd. But so we go in and we do the search, and he's got his own room, and he's got all these fancy ass clothes and whatever kind, Doc Martens and shoes. I mean, he's got more shoes than most chicks do. Most females do. And but his closet's lined full of nice clothes. And so many times, I can't tell you how many times people hide their dope in their jackets in the closet. Now it's August. His jacket is right there in the middle. It was a big leather jacket of red and black leather, and red, black, and white. I forget, had some kind of emblem on it, FUBU or something. I don't remember what it was, but it was a nice leather jacket. And while I was searching the closet, we'd been searching the room, et cetera, went in, and there was a huge bag of cookies, is what we call them. Now, cookies are, when you cook up crack, it actually comes out in wafers when you get done with it. When you cook it up right there on your stove, and there's actually cooking involved, not like meth when they say it's cooking and there's no actual fire in the process. When you make crack, there is. But in the cookies, when you get done, they come out with the cookies in cookie form. Then they crack that up, they break that up, or rock it up, and that's where you get the crack rock from. So back it up, find big ass stack of crack in one pocket, and what's another one? Big ass stack of money. He had like $8,000 in cash. So we could get out. We do the rest of the house. Grandparents didn't have shit, and get him. He's an asshole. He knows he's going to prison. And oh no, man, that shit ain't mine. Y'all planted that shit. I said, yeah, because I showed it to him. Right? It had been advised his rights. And we're sitting in the living room, or he's sitting on the couch in the living room. And always, y'all, whenever you go in and you do something like that, and you put somebody down on the floor and you take them into custody, even though you secure that weapon that's right there in front of them, they have what they call the 1+1 rule. If you find one weapon, you should expect to find another. But before I would ever set anybody back on the couch like that, you're pulling the cushions off that couch in case there's another gun or whatever in there before you sit them on there, because you don't want them with their hands behind their back digging on the couch, coming out with a weapon. But anyway, he's sitting there and, hey, look, man, Detective Overton, you've been advised your rights. And, we know you slinging crack. I ain't slinging no crack. It's bullshit. I said, pull out the bag of cookies, right? And it's a bunch of crack. I mean, thousands of dollars worth of crack. And, oh, that ain't my shit. You planted that shit. I said, yeah, that's right, motherfucker. I woke up in my house this morning on the other side of the parish, side. I'm gonna make me some crack rock, and I'm gonna spend all day cooking up crack rock, and I'm gonna drive across the parish and stop some other dude coming out of your house, get a bogus ass search warrant, and then I'm gonna plant my own dope in your shit. I said, you so fucking stupid. I said, but your problem is you're a convict, and your ass ain't getting out of prison this time, which is fine. I said, you don't have to cooperate. Fuck you. We hooked him, tagged him, and booked him, sent him with a uniformed guy, tagged the evidence, tagged the money. Common procedure. Tagged the evidence, tagged the money, and still had it secured in the vehicle. Actually, it was secured in Vic's vehicle. So we're getting ready to leave, and Vic's like, man, the motherfuckers pulling in here all night long. He said, let's set up in the bushes and get them. He said, I'll stay inside, and when they come to the door, you get them. And y'all, you know what? It's a good idea. You know why? Because almost everybody, it's unfortunate. Now, look, I'm not picking on a crackhead or a meth head or whatever. Addiction's a motherfucker. And I'm just telling you the stories, okay? Generally, the people who are addicted or have the long run addictions have warrants and shit for the arrest. And it's just a fact. Or they have a glass stick on them, or paraphernalia or something, guns and shit like that. They're convicted felons with firearms that shouldn't have. So we set up. It was still relatively early tonight. I think it was before midnight. Vic set up inside, and Ken and I set up outside, like in the bushes. And I mean, we hit our vehicles. I'm telling you, the whole time the search was going on, the uniform guys were like, dudes, there's cars that keep turning on the power ham and then turn around in the first couple houses and leave. And it was crackheads coming to buy their shit. But the word evidently didn't get too far out, because we set up, we hit our cars, and it wasn't. I'm talking about I didn't get hit in the bushes good, and the first vehicle pulls him into the cul-de-sac and whip around. Dude gets out, goes to the door. Vic opens the door, hit him, pull him in, check him out. He had a pipe on him, and I think he had a warrant out of East Baton Rouge or somewhere. So we call a unit to come get him, and boom, it was like that. It was nonstop, boom, boom, and everybody we were getting, had, like I said, either a warrant or a crack pipe or a gun. And we got with several guns that night. But let me tell you, funny.
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdowns scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gifts to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey, y'all, you want to set your child up for success? Is your child struggling with a specific subject or need help with the subject? Is your child ahead? Not getting challenged enough in class? Well, IXL Learning is an online learning program that enriches your homeschool curriculum. It offers practice in math, English, language arts, science, and social studies while adapting to each child, meeting them where they are. Plus, IXL encourages students to become curious and empowers them to choose how to learn. Look, we homeschool our son. No doubt about it. He's more of a visual learner, and we use IXL, and Cindy teaches him, and there are so many different benefits to the program. It adapts to exactly what he needs in different areas. So IXL is the perfect supplement to your homeschool curriculum. IXL offers interactive practice problems, educational games, lessons, and video tutorials for every topic you're teaching at home. It's easy to use, time-saving. Everything on IXL is organized by grade, subject, topic, and subtopic, making it simple to find activities for the exact skills you are covering. IXL offers instant feedback and explanations of new topics as kids use the program. Kids can explore any topic in any grade level. They aren't forced into a single learning path like they are on other programs. If you're homeschooling your child because they were falling behind or because they were too far ahead like our son, IXL is a great program to help them get the exact support they need. Kids love IXL's positive feedback awards and educational games. IXL is trusted by 15 million students worldwide and has proven to improve performance in over 75 scientific research studies. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And Real Life Real Crime listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. And don't forget, Real Life Real Crime listeners get 20% off. Y'all, we really do use this product, and it's been a godsend.
This car pulls in, and it's a male driver, and I'm literally hiding in the fucking bushes in an azalea bush, and it's a male driver, female passenger, both from white, and she gets out and she goes to the door, and she's got this big ass brown paper bag, not a plastic Walmart bag, big brown paper bag. I'm like, what the hell is she carrying? And so when she hit the door, when Vic opened the door, Ken and I ran up to the vehicle and got the driver. Stop, sheriff's office, show us your hands. And got him to put his hands up, get him out of the vehicle. What are you doing down here? Oh, well, some bullshit excuse, right? And then turned out he had a warrant. But what the lady brought to the door is what I want to know, right? To get up, go to see what's up with that. And she had a brown paper bag, and we opened it. It was a whole fucking ribeye, like $100 and something worth of ribeye meat. And I'm like, what the hell? And she was, most people most addicts, like crack addicts and stuff, they're not assholes. They certainly can be, but most of them, if you cut them a break, they'll be cool with you, et cetera. But I asked her, I said, ma'am, is this what you were going to pay for your crack with? And she said, yeah. And I said, where'd you get this from? She said, I got it from such and such in East Baton Rouge. That's the other thing, y'all. Parham is not, it's kind of on the East Baton Rouge Parish line almost. It's not far. So people were coming from East Baton Rouge Parish also to buy this dope, JoJo's dope. And she said, so I went and got a whole ribeye. I said, why the fuck didn't you just bring cash? She said, because I didn't have cash. I said, well, how'd you get the ribeye? I said, you stole the ribeye? She said, no. She said, it's the first of the month. I said, what you mean? She said, it's the first of the month. I got my grub stubs in. And I was like, okay. So, and what we used to call that was the first of the month club, and dope activity always picked up in the hood and the dope areas. I'm not stereotyping and being politically incorrect. I'm just telling a fucking story. But it always picked up in the first of the month, because when they got the food stamps, they would trade them for dope. And the shame on them for taking their family's food and trading it for dope, right? And I was like, damn. And I said, lady, that's harsh, right? I said, yeah, I mean, you got kids at home? She said, yeah, da-da-da-da. And she ended up having a warrant anyway, and we sent her to jail. Now, I don't know who took possession of the meat. I don't know. I'm sure it got turned in. But anyway, so never forget it. The first of the month club, and in the first of the month. So she was there with her whole ribeye. And I guess she would have got like 5 good rocks off of it, right? $100 worth of meat. But the story doesn't end there. One more, and then I'm going to wrap it up. She sticks out of my mind. I always will. I mean, I feel bad about the kids and shit like that. I mean, I feel bad about, hopefully she turned her life around and shit. I mean, you literally, I guess everybody that's doing dope is taking money out of their kid's mouth, right? But this is literally, she's taking prime rib, a whole ribeye out their baby's mouth. Anyway, so let's get to the last one of the night. All that being the last vehicle that pulled up. Back in my Azalea Bush, this old like 1981 Chevrolet, full size, single cab pickup truck, no muffler on it, coming in. It's like 4:00 in the morning now, right? And then the green light's on, and it's going pop, 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 pop. And I'm like, these motherfuckers on Parham are pissed off, right? That's why they kept calling the sheriff. I mean, you buy a house in a place like this so you don't have problems. And this truck's coming in, pop, 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 no muffler. I'm like, I'm chuckling to myself. And they come in, they did the loop, and they let the one person get out to go to the door to get the dope. We did the same thing. Big hits him at the door. Ken and I run up to the truck and we're like, show us your hands. And it was a dude and 2 guys and a female in the middle, and all white. And they were from St. Helena Parish, and get them out. They all had warrants and shit. But the driver was a real asshole. He was an older guy. He was a dick from the beginning. He was like, what do you want? And I said, what you doing down here at 4:00 in the morning? And I said, turn that fucking truck off. It's too loud, because it was going pop, 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 pop. And I reached in. I turned it off. I took the keys because he had a little bit of attitude. And I said, get out and get him out. And he said, whatever, I'm down here doing whatever. I said, you're full of shit. And then he said, well, I ain't saying nothing. I said, good, don't say nothing then, motherfucker. Give me your driver's license. And he did it, and he had warrants. But he was a dick from the get-go. And so when you book somebody on a warrant, y'all, that's the easiest arrest in the world. You don't have to write a report. You take them to the jail, or in this case, we'd have uniformed guys take them to the jail, and all they have to do is verify the warrant from the agency. This guy, warrants are out of St. Helena Parish, and verify the warrants, and then you do a booking sheet. It takes 2 minutes. I've done thousands of the booking sheets. You just fill it out, and in the charges section, you put the warrant for St. Helena Parish for whatever it was. He had a bunch of small bullshit warrants like a theft and driving without a license and whatever else. But he went to jail more because he was an asshole than anything. So, but now the deal is all 3 of them went to jail for different things. And the deal was we had to tow his shit. Couldn't leave this hoopty sitting in the cul-de-sac on Parham. So we had to call for the next 79 on the list. And 79 is a tow truck. In Watson area, and when in law enforcement, it's not bad. Back then, the wait for a 79 wasn't bad. When on the east side of the parish, you call for a tow truck, you might be waiting for that bitch for 2 hours or 3 hours at that time in the morning. But it didn't take long for the tow truck to get there. But remember, I told you before you can tow the vehicle, you had to inventory it. So you go in and you write down, and Ken's calling out whatever, and I searched my side and listed whatever. And then it didn't have anything important, whatever tools and whatever, just some bullshit stuff. But I searched, Ken searched, 79 gets there, sign off on it, and they hook it and they go. And I told Ken, I said, fuck, and Vic, I said, fuck this, I'm going to the house. It's late. Well, I mean, we arrested like 15 or 20 people tonight. We did our job, got crack off the street, got this neighborhood back where they can roll right with the people. This asshole ain't going to be selling crack in here anymore. He ain't coming back. And so good night's work, right? It's all gravy, baby. I got a 40-minute drive across the parish to where I lived at the time. I get there and I lay down and I can go to sleep. Now, I think it was a Friday because I didn't have court. So it must have not been a Sunday night. But anyway, I go to sleep and my pager goes off. Like, I don't know, 2 hours later, 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And I'm like, fuck. And then I didn't answer. I didn't even look at it. And then my pager went off again. And then my home phone rang. And back then I had a home phone because not many people had cell phones. My home phone rang and I grabbed it and I said, what? And he said, Woody. I said, what? He said, oh, it's Ken. I said, what's up, man? I mean, I'm still trying to wake up. I said, what's wrong? He said, dude, you got to come meet me, man. You got to come meet me at the tow truck yard. I said, why? What the fuck are you talking about? And we towed like, I think we only towed like maybe 2 or 3 vehicles that night out of all the people that we arrested. Some of them we let go with summons, like misdemeanor summons and stuff like that. Got some information off of them. Told them you'll owe us a favor in the future, shit like that, right? But still, a summons is an arrest. But I think we had only towed a couple vehicles. But anyways, Ken said, man, we gotta go get a truck, man. I said, which truck, Ken? And he said, the last one we did, the dude from St. Helene. I said, that loud ass piece of shit. He said, yeah. And then this thing had rust spots all on it, and just, I mean, it was hoopty. And I said, what is going on, man? He said they were booking that dude in the jail and on his warrants, and he wanted to know where his money was at. And I said, what money? He said, the dude said he had $10,000 cash and that it's in his truck. I said, and he said, man, you gonna file a complaint on us? And the guy saying we stole his money. I said, let me tell you something. You tell that motherfucker to go file a complaint with anybody he wants to. He said, what are you talking about? I said, that bitch ain't never had $10,000 in his entire fucking life, much less in that truck last night. And if he wants to file a complaint on me, he can file a fucking complaint because I didn't steal his fucking money. I said, did you steal his money? Kid said, hell no. I said, then fuck him. Let him file a complaint. I am not driving over there, search that crackhead's truck so he could be laughing at us. He was like, yeah. You know what? Fuck him. Yeah, you're right, man. I said, bro, go to bed, get some sleep. And anyway, so just another good night. Ken's a super dude, man. And then, of course, there was never a complaint filed about $10,000. That motherfucker he'd been around, he'd probably been arrested 60 times. And he knew $10,000 was probably $9,900 worth more than his truck was. But anyway, that's it, y'all. That's the end of the story for tonight, and hope you enjoyed it. First of the month. Gives you a little bit of variety. I will be getting back into the more serious cases soon. Okay, by that I mean murders and ones that you haven't heard of, etc. But I do like to mix it up. But I told y'all I was going to bring you more information in this season on the cases, but I can't get it, because of COVID, and it's ramping back up. So just bear with me. I got a million stories to tell, but these big cases, y'all, I'm gonna bring other guests on and that work the cases with me, and we're gonna have some recordings. The intentions are to have some of my interrogation recordings and stuff like that, and take it to a whole new level. And we'll get there. Just bear with me, and continue to like us and share us. Y'all on Instagram at that little @ symbol, because I don't know dick about it, but I'm learning and I'm kind of having fun with it now. So it's at Real Life Real Crime, and then I have at Overton Woody. Y'all go check me out on Instagram. Give me a like. I'm putting some pretty funny stuff on there every day. I'm trying to do a post on there every day. And so we're growing that, and we're going to get back on YouTube. And then we have, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different pages on Facebook. Y'all, one of our clubs is we have a Real Life, Real Crime Bookem Club. Y'all go check that out. It's a private club on Facebook. Our Dream Team moderators run it up, and they're hardcore true crime fans, and they pick a different true crime book, and they read it, and they discuss it amongst themselves. They're awesome. So I've been real remiss on not mentioning that page. So y'all go check that out and ask them, and they'll get you approved to join the group. And then, of course, our Real Life, Real Crime Friends, Fans, and Crew page, 19,600 members tonight, y'all. I appreciate that. Thank you. Please continue to invite and anyone you want to the page. And that's going to be important when we have to move forward on Courtney Coco. We've got to have the numbers to close that thing out. And it's coming. I know I told y'all give me 2 weeks. I know COVID is the official culprit now. I'm not BSing you about it. I know more than probably I should know. I'm telling you to lay off of them, give them a little bit to this blows over. And so, Courtney, justice for Courtney, always. Miss Barbara Blunt, please keep the tips coming in. Again, we're back against the wall again with COVID, but Miss Barbara Blunt's case is not. It's not frozen, y'all. I mean, the lifers continue to pour in information and give stuff, and Jason R., the sheriff, is totally committed to working it, and his guys, and we're going to have a meeting real soon on it. But again, we're under the COVID, whatever the shit you want to call it. So, but I want to talk to you about something that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm serious about this, y'all. Last week, I went on July the 1st to LOPA, which is the Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency in Covington, Louisiana. And I was a guest on their podcast called The Gifted Life. And Lori Steele was the actual host, and Kelly Jennings from Livingston Parish Literacy and Technology Center was there also. And we're talking, but let me tell y'all something. I'm an old hard ass, right? I've seen all the death you can see, and you can't see anything worse than what I've seen. But LOPA, they had this 5-month-old baby's mama call in. The 5-month-old got killed, and the mama called in and told the 5-month-old story and what happened and how she held her and how she made the decision for her baby to be an organ donor, et cetera. And ultimately, this sweet baby saved 4 lives. 4 lives from a 5-month-old baby's organs went into people who needed these organs to live, okay? From a 5-month-old baby. And I'm not going to ruin any more of it because that podcast is coming out, and I'll give you the links to it when it does. But I'm telling you, Woody Overton and Real Life, Real Crime are taking LOPA, the Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency. That's going to be my mission. I don't know, you call it whatever the hell you call it. Do good, whatever. It is a honorable thing, okay? And I've been an organ donor, and I had a homicide case before. An 18-year-old female got killed, kind of almost the same way this baby got killed. And I'm not going to tell you about it, but her organs went out to, and one of them is a doctor, I think, out of California. So I already knew about it. And I'd already been signed up, but sit there and listen to that mama's pain and anguish, but then the joy that she got knowing out of her baby as a hero, because that baby saved 4 lives, almost made me cry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you the link to LOPA, and you log on to lopa.org/LTC. And in the drop down, it says, how did you hear about us? It lists LPLTC. That's for Livingston Parish Literacy and Technology Center. And y'all, they're doing great things. If you choose that, choose criminal justice under it. That's Kelly Jennings' class, and who are really pushing LOPA. And they also, LOPA's now added under that drop down a spot for RLRC lifers, real life, real crime lifers. So it's LOPA, chumbacasino.org/LTC. And then in the drop down, you can click in that you heard about from the LPLTC or RLRC lifers. Now, you're going to be dead anyway, people. You're not going to need your shit. They're going to have a body to bury, right? And I know I'm not politically correct or sensitive or whatever, but I don't care what they do with me once I'm dead. You know, if they can use something out of my old ass body to make somebody else live a little longer, I'd be glad to do it. But there's plenty of y'all out there who aren't organ donors, and by logging on to that right there, it takes like 2 minutes. You can get it done, and yes, you can do it from out of state. They have an out of state section also. But the important thing is, I was talking to somebody earlier, actually to the Patreon members earlier that watched me on the video. I said, you know, organ donors is kind of like a migraine. Everybody knows about it, right? But you never really feel it or experience until you go through it. So you think about that baby that saved 4 lives, but think about all the people that are out there right now that are waiting on organs or they're going to die. And there's another great lifer, and I'll get her permission to tell her story maybe one day or have her on. And she's a recipient, I think, of a double lung transplant. And I mean, these people be dying, y'all. And so sign up. You're not gonna give a shit what they do with your organs anyway, right? But it's the real deal. And from now on, every single podcast, I'm gonna close it out like this: lifers, give the gift of life. Be an organ donor. And I'm Woody Overton, your host of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. And until next time or ever, don't let me catch you down on Murder Bayou. Peace.
Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.
Real Life, Real Crime is a true crime podcast brought to you by Woody Overton and executive producer Toby Tomplay.
ET is Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.